Hello, everybody out there in comic book land. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don. And if you're watching this, you're here for a brand new episode of Major Discourse, where we talk to the people in the industry who are working on the latest and greatest to come to comic books and comic book media. Super excited for this episode. As you know, I am never alone. I am joined by the fantastic Frank Jerome. Frank, tell the people what's up.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah. And we are joined also by the comic OG, the Cog. Alex, let the people know what's going on.
Hey, everybody. It's Alex Garcia, aka the Cog. As always, guys, this is a very special episode for me. Very excited for this.
Yes, it is. And, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the headmaster of Horned Helm Studios, the frenetic firebrand from Strong Island, New York, the brilliant brain behind Battle Skull, and the brave little tailor, the sultan of shading, the prodigy of pencils, breaking into this industry, one amazing creator-owned project at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tom Travers.
Hey, guys.
How you doing, Tom?
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. It's awesome. Thank you.
We're super excited to have you, especially, the New York blood, pumping through your veins makes me super excited to have you around. And one of the things that we were talking a bit off air about is your sort of unique journey into this medium and how the entire medium itself is pretty unique as it stands. I have here, boom, 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 this little ditty.
Nice.
Horned Helm Studio presents #1,
That's
which
awesome.
introduced your character, Battle Skull. In a world where people are sort of, especially in this creative space, people are itching to write the next Batman and Spider-Man story. What interested you about creating your own character in this space?
I just when I was younger, when I first got more serious about drawing and I was really into comics, of course, I had the dreams of drawing Batman and Wolverine and all that stuff. And I dreamt of doing a run on Wolverine or whatever. As I got older, I was like, maybe that's not where my talents really are best used. I'm like, I don't really have those chops where I'm going to be like a Marvel artist or a DC artist or whatever. And, so my tastes changed throughout the years, and I got into animation and illustration, all different types of visual children's books, different types of visual storytelling. And eventually just my journey led me to wanting to just do my own stuff. I wanted to do my own creator-owned things. I had a lot of story ideas, character ideas, and that was more exciting to me than trying to, pursue work with any companies, studios, or anything like that. And I just felt happier doing that kind of thing, and that was what was inspiring to me as an artist and a creator. I just wanted to tell the stories I wanted to tell, and I figured, and as that was happening, I was also seeing that was really where a lot of the industry was kind of going in that direction with everything, with self-publishing and social media and all this stuff, and crowdfunding, and it's like, okay, you can really do your own thing a lot more easily now. It's like you don't need to necessarily be working for a major publisher to do something exciting. You can really do your own stuff. So that was exciting to me, and it continues to be. And that's what I like to do. I'm like, I just want to do my own stuff. I have stories I want to tell, and I'll draw the occasional Batman or Spider-Man fan art because those characters are amazing, and I love doing that stuff. But I would just rather do my own thing. It's more fulfilling for me. So. And then
100%. You're a man after our own heart, because we started this comic book clique about 10 years ago, in April of 2016. And I don't know if it's just because I've become more cognizant of the medium itself, but it feels like we are in this age where there's still fans following the characters they love, but they're following the creators.
Yeah.
And they'll follow those creators off a cliff if the creator says that's where they want to go.
Yep.
And I think that's so special because it shows how important the individual voice is for a lot of this stuff. And
Totally.
looking through stuff, looking through your stuff, there is a beautiful mix of like the images remind me of Saturday morning cartoons in a lot of ways. The
Nice.
images remind
Yeah.
me of the animation that I grew up watching, and then they can get kind of action heavy, and you introduce some like more serious themes. Is that something that you knew you wanted to do, or is that just the easiest for you? Like,
Uh,
were you very much influenced by the cartoons of your era, or is this more like
oh
a
yeah.
this kids need this because they don't have what we had?
Nah, yeah.
Yeah, right.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I'm a product of the 1980s, 1990s cartoons and action figure combination. The Ninja Turtles, the toy lines, the combination of the animated series with the toy lines, all
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
movies, all that stuff. Like I love that stuff like tremendously, and yeah, all of that informs what I do as a cartoonist illustrator totally. And I'm always trying to emulate that stuff on some level, like yeah, the N90s comic books, Image comic stuff, and
Yeah.
later on, like my favorite comic book of all time, Battle Chasers, and all that
Mhm.
stuff. We'll talk about that stuff later, or whatever. But I yeah, totally consciously always trying to channel what I love. It's in the work for sure. It's in everything that I do, and it influenced me hugely. Yeah, all the media that I grew up with, it definitely continues to influence me big time. I do consciously try to channel a little bit of that if I can, where in whatever I'm working on. Totally, yeah.
No, I definitely think
Yeah.
it's working. Even with the pencils that we've seen for some of the projects that you're leading up to,
Mm-hmm.
there's meticulous work in this stuff. This is not someone. There you go, gargoyles. This is meticulous
Oh,
work. You have
nice.
been working at this
Right.
craft for a very long time. What is
Mm-hmm.
a moment in the last couple of years you think little Tom would have been excited for to find out that Big Tom has accomplished?
I got to give some of my artwork to Larry Kenny, the voice of Lion-O from Thundercats. That was cool.
Whoa.
Met him
Oh,
at a show, local show. He actually happened to be there, and I was able to
nice.
present him with some artwork, which was exciting. That was cool. That was like a surreal moment, because you grow up like venerating this stuff, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
Thundercats and all this stuff, and then, like you get to meet someone who worked prominent role on the show and show them your artwork. They're impressed with your artwork. They're excited. That was really cool. And yeah, moments like that. I've had a couple moments where some of my favorite artists too have been complimentary of my work, which always blows me away. Any kind
Yeah.
of they said like your stuff's cool. This is cool. I'm like that's always exciting. Those are the moments where I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Um, yeah, so that it happens from time to time. There are
Right.
moments where that stand out. Yeah, for sure.
I dig it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just happy to have you here and talk to you hear this because, like I said, I got to meet you for the first time. What was the first time you were at Grasshoppers
Oh
Comics?
man, I don't know what year it was. I'm terrible with that stuff. Everything like blurs together. But I've been shopping there forever, so I mean, I don't know. I really wouldn't have a year, but I've been doing the Christmas party and
Yeah.
the free comic book day there for many years. Yeah, I know we met a long time ago at this point, but
Yeah. Well, I see. For me, when I first seen you there, we talked about this. Is who is this Tom Travers at the table, with Eddie Avila and Phil Jimenez and
correct.
Peter David
Mm-hmm.
and et cetera. You know how many people have been Walt Simonson. Were you there when Walt was there?
I believe I was there the night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You sat there with all these people, these
yeah,
people. I didn't meet you on the one side. I didn't meet you till you were sitting on that side. And I'm like,
yeah.
Tom Travers. I like this stuff. He's drawing a pretty badass Darkwing Duck, but I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know. I
yeah.
don't know his work,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen you just progress. And I
Mm-hmm.
was very excited to hear about your stuff.
I
You know,
appreciate
I
it.
the Battle Skull,
Mm-hmm.
we picked that up. And once I seen that you were finally publishing your own book, and we'll talk about that in a second,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I knew we had to get you on here. You
Yeah,
know,
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
you are a bohemian, sir, and for this industry. So we very much are as well. So just excited
Thanks.
to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, it's awesome,
And
man. I appreciate it. It's awesome.
yeah. So where does Battle Skull go from here?
Um, well, I'm focused on the Christmas Carol, which we'll talk about right
Fair,
now.
fair.
That's extremely consuming, so that's my
Yeah.
number one thing right now. But then I'm thinking ahead to when that's complete. I do want to, because now I'm kind of in a groove where I'm producing sequential art. Um, I have kind of a process that I'm happy with, so I really want to. I do want to produce like a Battle Skull one shot special at least, and continue to do more like anthology style comics where there will be short stories. That's really like my favorite form to work in. I like to do short stories, so I'll be doing more of that stuff for sure. But I do want to do like one shots, kind of like, I guess I would compare it to like Mike Mignola with Hellboy.
Yeah.
He would do like a little mini series, like 4 issues, maybe a one shot occasionally. Not comparing myself to Mike Mignola remotely, but the approach to the character, like just like I wouldn't want to do like an ongoing. I can never do an ongoing series. I cannot do that. I would not. I'm not Eric Larson. I'm not going to bang out 300 issues of Savage Dragon. That's not going to happen.
Not to cut you off, but a guy we interviewed not too long ago named Daniel Warren Johnson said the same thing, and then he made Transformers. So I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah, you guys did Daniel Warren Johnson. That's amazing.
Yeah,
but he's awesome. I'll just probably I want to do one shots and short arcs and short stories, and it's going to be all comics. I just want to do more comics, more self-published comics moving forward.
Okay.
That's the direction we'll go.
I wonder if that short story stuff is also from like episodic, kind of like television wrapping up singular stories, and the way that does.
I think I have a limited attention span from all that stuff.
No, but to me, it's like if that stuff is pure, if you can knock out a pure story that gets the fans through a roller coaster in X amount of pages, dare I say, some of these other books that are out are meandering, because they have to dribble the ball. They're never allowed to shoot it, because someone shot it in the 90s and, they slam dunk. So now everyone just has to kind of keep the pace. But, how's the hustle when you are doing this for yourself, by yourself? I mean, you have to have your own battery, right? You have to feel and believe in these projects and go in front of other people to evangelize what you feel like is a story that should be told. Is that something that you have with you every morning, or are you just in constant reminder that, it takes work to make work kind of stuff?
I mean, every day you got to just do, if you're committed to something, you have to like do it even if you don't want to do it. You're not always going to be super motivated, but like with the Christmas Carol book, that's really like an inspired thing. I'm really like enjoying that all the time. I want to work on it all the time. So I'm really feeling great about that. Something about that project has excited me in a way that not every other project has. So I have been feeling that I want to get this done. Like I want to make the time for this today, even though, I'm not a full-time artist for my income. This is a passion thing that I do as much as I can currently. So, I'm always trying to find the time to do the work and make sure that it's getting done to a degree of quality that I'm happy with. And, you don't always have that motivation. There are times like today I was kind of burned out, like I drew a lot of stuff the last couple of days, and then I had a convention this weekend. I was just drawing like crazy, sketching and doing all the stuff. And then so today I was like kind of burned out. I was like, it's kind of a struggle. I don't really want to sit down and start drawing a page or something. But you force yourself to do as much as you can, and you try to, and I've also said, I've set up this, I'm building this expectation myself, like this book, like as far as A Christmas Carol, which I guess we'll talk about more in depth in a little while, but I'm like, this has to be done by Christmas 2026. So I have to draw these pages. I'm telling people this is going to be done. So I'm creating kind of my own, a little bit of pressure on myself, which is good though. I like that. I'm like, okay, I have to do this. Like I have to do this one. I have to make the time for it. So sometimes it
No,
comes down to that too. Sometimes you just have to do it. You have to do it.
yeah. That kind of feels like your mentality around, self-publishing as it stands. If you're somebody who is going to conventions and going to comic shops as frequently as you are, that means you're not seeing the story you want to read on the shelves. You have to create that story or else it doesn't exist. And
Mhm.
then you have the great power, great responsibility thing where it's like, okay, I've agreed to take on this project and now I have to see it through, which is something
Yep.
that we, as far as like any kind of content, especially now in a world where you have to promote on Twitter and you have to promote on, X and get a Threads account or maybe Blue Sky or whatever. It can turn into a bit of a whirlwind. So I know how important that eternal battery is, that
Mhm.
conviction that your book does not currently exist on the shelves and therefore people are missing out. And so in the creation of this book and the creation of these self published works, you are adding instead of just sitting amongst everyone, doing the same
Yeah.
kind of thing. You're adding
Totally.
to the overall pool of awesomeness. So I think
Mhm.
that's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely about bringing something that you want to see. Yeah, there's definitely part of that there. It's like I want to. I miss like when I got into comics, the late '90s. It was like I feel like there was more creator-owned, exciting stuff happening.
Yeah.
Like I'll bring it back. I'm going to talk about Battle Chasers again because I always.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
But,
Yeah.
Please, yeah. Hey,
but
you're talking to because I'm pretty sure you say you're
yeah,
the number one fan.
yeah.
Then you're talking to the number two fan. So
Okay,
please,
nice.
because Joe Matt
Nice.
when I was selling my
Yeah,
comics to John when I moved from New
yeah.
York to Florida, when
Mm-hmm.
I went through my X-Men collection,
Mm-hmm.
very few X-Men books lasted. Guess whose entire run is in there?
The Joe
Joe
Mad,
Mad.
bro.
Joe
Nice.
Mad, bro.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
please, so
yeah. Yeah,
gush
so
about
I
that,
got to
please.
gush over that period of time. But yeah, like I feel like someone like Joe Matter and earlier, like the Image guys, they took a huge chance and left the big publishers and did exactly what they wanted to do, and that was just like an exciting time. And I guess that's still happening to a degree. There's plenty of creator-owned stuff, but it's like just not. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I want to bring something exciting, and not like I'm making any major changes here, but just trying to be in that spirit of trying to bring something interesting, something kind of unique to the table. Um, and yeah, that's really just that exciting energy of like, something that's not just Marvel and DC. Marvel and DC is awesome. I'm not trying to take away. They're great. Everything they do is great, but well, not everything they do is great, but what they do, yeah,
Uh-oh.
far from it.
Uh-oh.
But
Tom
Rob
Travers
Liefeld Robinson.
says.
Here it goes.
depends who's handling the creative chores, um, but yeah, it's like there's definitely I think room for a lot of really interesting creative stuff to happen, and it's hard for it to find an audience always, but you should try to get stuff out there. I find that stuff more exciting to like to me. I'd rather hear that like we'll talk about like Ed McGuinness, one of my favorite artists, for example. Like, he's always drawing Marvel and DC stuff, which is great. He's masterful. His work is amazing and exciting. It's awesome. It's always great. But like if he announced that he was doing his own creator-owned book, I'd be more excited about that personally at this point.
Yeah.
I'd be more excited to hear him say he's going to do his own book. He's going to write and draw something or team up with a writer and do something totally fresh and new. To me, that's more exciting than issue 5,000 of Spider-Man. Like that's just the way I feel about it. So
No, it's the truth.
So like, how do I want to put this? So like, what's your process when you're working on something? I mean, like, do you do full script and then start drawing, or is it kind of like sit down, here's a page, I'm going to lay the page out and script it as I go?
I guess when I'm doing totally my own stories, I kind of just I have like a couple of ideas. I have like a pad, just write down the key ideas, the story beats, and then I will type a script if I'm doing a short story or something. I'll type it out and say, okay, this is going to happen on this page, and try to get the pacing. Do a lot of thumbnail sketching, small sketches to get a sense of what's going to happen on every page and how we're going to get all the key story elements in the span of pages, whatever that may be. There's a lot of preliminary stuff, like just trying to lay it out, and then I'll go in and just do pencils and then inks, if I'm going to ink it. In some of my work, I just did pencils and had guys color over pencils, which was actually really cool. Had some cool results with that. But I usually, I'll do some rough pencils based on the thumbnail layouts, and then go over that with the inks and then send it off to a colorist and stuff. So, but yeah, it's a lot of notes, just notes and thumbnail sketches, and there will be a script. Not a tight script that says every line of dialogue or anything like that. Just a pacing, just to pace everything out.
So there's a plan. You don't go by the seat of your pants.
Oh yeah, typically, there's definitely a plan. Yeah, absolutely.
You also seem to have a voice in fantasy. Like when you talk about like Brave Little Tailor, you talk about Battle Skull, like just the exposition, or I mean, I guess how people speak. You seem to have really nailed that old English sort of verbiage. Is that also a genre that you personally enjoy, either in books, movies, kind of sword and sandals kind of stuff?
Yeah, totally. I love sword and sorcery, fantasy. Absolutely love that stuff. I love old school Dungeons and Dragons, like illustrations. I never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I love the illustrations. I love the paintings, the black and white ink art from the old school, like I guess instruction manuals or whatever, players manuals.
The Larry Elmore stuff.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Tolkien. I love the 1970s animated version of The Hobbit, the Rankin Bass.
I just saw that not too long ago.
Absolutely love that. I love those.
No, I agree. It was great. The thing that stinks is we got spoiled with, Peter Jackson and stuff, and then you watch it now and it's hokey. But growing up as a kid, Frank, that right? Come on, did you like the Rankin Bass?
Well, The Hobbit is a children's book, so the cartoon makes more sense than 3-hour movies.
That's it. But even when you talk about the Dungeons and Dragons illustrations, that is for such a niche audience, and yet there's no phoning it in. There's no like, this will go out to a couple. These are a couple manuals, or this will go out to a couple people who happen to enjoy this. The reach doesn't affect the effort, and then the effort almost dictates the reach after the fact, because it's so good, because it's so palpable, that it attracts more people to it. And that's another thing that I'm finding with this creator-owned stuff. I will say, it's that gentleman down there, the comic OG, who put me on to more indie stuff, because if I wanted to just stay in the big two, or even including things like Image and Boom, there's enough to read there. if I wanted to get in, and then I'm finding these 5-issue, 12-issue miniseries, or even, like you said, a one shot where the writer and artist put it all on the line, exactly how they feel, the message that they want to convey, and it's so palpable. I actually had this conversation with him yesterday where I'm like, I don't know if major blockbusters are going to make me feel the same way as some of these indie books do, because they're so raw and they're so vulnerable, and it takes that level of bravery to make good art, in my opinion. And it feels like you're sticking to your guns with that level of vulnerability, because you could just be. I've heard also it be said, like, no one comes into comics to get rich. Right. So I look at the creators in this space with a bit of reverence, because I think art is extremely important. I think it's one of the many ways we can communicate with each other and seem less alone, especially this medium. It's so personal. You read on your own. Your pacing is on your own. How the voices you hear in your head are aided by the writer and the artist, but ultimately, it's a very personal experience. And so to engage in that and be vulnerable in that, when the paychecks may not be, extravagant, I think is selfless. And I really applaud your ability to, again, stick to your guns and want to see this through. But in that journey, how do you get to A Christmas Carol? How do you get to, oh man, Ebenezer Scrooge over here? Because I think people are like, oh yeah, G.I. Joe book, Transformers, from our era, right? Thundercats, Silverhawks. Ebenezer Scrooge. Explain to me how you get to the Scrooge of it all.
It's actually like not too meandering of a story. I think I did an adaptation. I was invited by some cartoonists, friends, I guess, internet friends on Instagram, to contribute to an anthology that was adapting fairy tales. So I did an 8-page adaptation of The Brave Little Tailor, which some of you guys may have seen that.
Yes.
So I did that, and it was just like, I was I guess in between projects, I was just, okay, I have time to do this. Let me do this. I'll try it. It seems fun. It's interesting. I've never done that before. I've never adapted anything from an existing text. Because they were adapting specifically, I think it's called the Blue Fairy book. It's like a specific collection of fairy tales. They're published by it's not just the fairy tale in general. It's a specific version of the fairy tale. So
the rights for all that stuff is super weird when it comes to very weird.
That one's definitely public domain because they were able to do that. So I did that adaptation first time, and it was around, I think I finished it around Thanksgiving, and then I was like, okay, and I guess my Christmas spirit was starting to cook up, and I read A Christmas Carol every year. I read it as a personal tradition. I love the book deeply. I love the book. I love the story. I watch all the movie versions. I love the book. And so I thought, hey, I just did this 8-page story. I loved the adaptation process. I loved working with an existing text and then putting it through my own filter and trying to pace it out and adapt it. So I guess I just said, hey, why don't I should do A Christmas Carol. I'm like, I love A Christmas Carol. And it's like this would be cool. This would be an exciting project, to undertake. And it was probably a little too ambitious, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. Going from 8 pages to whatever the final count's going to be on A Christmas Carol. It's a big difference, much longer story. But I felt inspired. It was just a moment of inspiration, and I got psyched about it. I started doing character design sketches and I was like, yeah, I can do this. I'm going to commit to doing this. And I just followed that inspiration. And so here I'm plugging away on it now, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes that white rabbit just shows up and you just chase it.
I mean, for me, I'm a 24/7 Christmas fan. I'm one of those nutbags who in July is like banging out on the first day of Christmas. That's me. I'm a Christmas nut. So that's something else that, I've always kept track of your page when you would post, just your fan arts and whatnot. But when you started posting that this book was coming out, it excited me, not for the story that you were doing it, and because I knew of your style. Without I didn't read Battle Skull until just recently. Now all these things came into effect for it, and I'm just wondering if this happened, because George and I were talking yesterday, and I mentioned to him how horror has just slowly permeated into every aspect of pop culture, like almost on like it just snuck in, including in yours, right? We're talking like your Battle Skull. It has this 80s 90s cartoon Disney feel to it. But then it also has those horror elements.
Yeah,
like you snuck in some slasher flick feel to it, right or wrong, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a little bit of the macabre, like little spooky stuff. I love Halloween too. I'm a big Halloween
there you go.
Holiday, big fan of that season and holiday too. So I love that element of things. Oh yeah, that definitely gets incorporated into stuff I'm doing for sure.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see the pages of you drawing. Death, the Christmas future, and even just the way you draw your Scrooge. Your Scrooge is not, Patrick Stewart. He's not even Michael Caine. Like that looks like a dude that you can see on the street and go, yeah, you deserve to die. I hope 3 ghosts visit you and judge you. Because so I'm very much looking forward to this book being complete.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Even the I think you got your first proof recently, right?
Yes, yeah, we did. I did a preview. Yeah, I'm doing a preview book just to kind of show around to retailers and friends and family and whoever. And we did a proof printing. It's the whole first chapter of the novella, the Dickens. It's Marley's Ghost. It's the first chapter of the book complete. So it's cool. I'm going to show that. Yeah, we just got the proofs. Hopefully, I will be able to get it finally printed within the next week or two. Fingers crossed. There's always little changes you got to make and all this kind of stuff. It's like, the printing process is sometimes a pain in the butt, but we're getting there. So.
I know. Trust me. I mean,
logistics, bro. Logistics.
Even the big 2 have those problems, so I totally get it. Now, are you going to release this issue to issue, or is this going to end up just being a Christmas Carol?
It's going to be one. It's going to be a one shot, one and done. I want people to be able to read it on Christmas Eve, read the whole thing if you want to. That's what I'm shooting for. It's not going to be issues. It's going to be like a 40-page, roughly 40-page kind of. It's a abridged adaptation, but accurate adaptation.
Every adaptation has been abridged.
Yes, yeah, hugely abridged. Yeah.
I guess that's
So don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, just out of curiosity, what do you think it is about A Christmas Carol that puts it ahead of a lot of the other very famous Christmas stories? And then just, for kicks, what is your ideal? What is the best adaptation of this very, very tried and true story? It's been done in animation. It's been done in questionable CGI sometimes. It's been done, it's been done in all kinds of forms. Is it the case where the book is still the best, in your opinion?
Yeah, I guess I grew up. There's a nostalgia element because I grew up with it. So there's that part of it. I love this. I love the story since I was a kid. I watched the Alistair Sim film version. For many years. I still do. That's probably my favorite adaptation. We'll talk about that, I guess, in a little bit. But
I was going to ask you that. I was going to say which adaptation is your favorite?
Yeah, that's my favorite. Is the Alistair Sims film? Yeah, that's the one I always watch repeatedly at Christmas time. But there are many other ones that are great too. But I don't know. I think what sets A Christmas Carol apart is it has like you mentioned, like those horror elements and whatever like that. That's always super interesting for a Christmas story, and like the time period that it was created in, that was like pretty revolutionary, pretty awesome. To incorporate ghosts and Christmas, that's interesting. Certainly, and makes it stand out, obviously. And then it's just an extremely moving story of redemption and. A lot of Christian values and other just a human story, great human story, and it really resonates. Of course, at Christmas time, it's hard to think of like other stories, pop culture stories that entered the popular culture that really resonate on that level at Christmas time. Like there's a lot of fun Christmas stuff and Christmas Carol has fun. It's fun and interesting and exciting and entertaining, but it's also a very powerful story, I think, and especially when you read the book. I don't know, the book I really find very moving when I read it. Some of it's maybe a little, it can be a little overly sentimental at times, Dickens' style of the time, but like some moments, but actually I love that. Like I think it's awesome. I just think it's awesome across the board, and I just find it to be an extremely powerful story and kind of like perfect story. It's just perfect in a lot of ways. It's really perfect.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with you. And I watch almost every adaptation. Like I said, I'm the Christmas guy. I'll tonight I might, because of this conversation, pop on Scrooge.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite versions. Bill Murray being in New York, having a crazy taxi cab driver be one of the ghosts. It's just a perfect version. Yeah. So I get it. The story is timeless and fits into any period of time. With like a Scrooge is a modern version of that story, and then you have another favorite version, a Muppet Christmas Carol. That's one of my favorites. Where hey, let's throw Muppets in this, and it still works. Why not have Tommy Travers from Long Island, with his art style, tell this story? I'm very excited for it. I'm very, very excited for it. I hope it lands on every storefront's visage. I hope a publisher realizes, hey, we got to pick it up and get it further out there. I know John is definitely going to have it in my pull box up there.
All right, we'll definitely do the local shops and everything. Yeah. And that was kind of part of the excitement about it too. Like once I started thinking about it, I'm like, I could like bring this to the local deli at Christmas time and be like, you guys want to order some copies and have this, because it's like a great Christmas gift. Like like if a grandma comes into I'll get a comic book version of A Christmas Carol for my grandkids. Absolutely. It's
absolutely.
It has that kind of universal, obviously tried and true, appeal. It's like, everybody is basically down to check out a version of A Christmas Carol at Christmas time. So it's cool.
Maybe not the Jim Carrey version, but I don't know. Some people,
Actually,
some people.
the middle school I work at, they show that to the kids. Oddly enough, they teach A Christmas Carol in a public school, which is awesome. I'm like, that's cool. But they use it and they show the Jim Carrey version, and I came to appreciate aspects of that version. I'm like, it's not. It's kind of cool.
I'm not someone that says it's terrible, but it's definitely not. It's not at the tier of the other ones. You know what I mean? So
it's definitely not top tier, but it's okay. It's
right.
I'm a Christmas Carol fanboy, so I can take it.
No, it's in my Blu-ray collection.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah,
but it's very clean, if you know what I mean. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Doesn't get a lot of spins.
I like the idea that Cape comic fans, you're sitting and watching adaptations going like, that didn't happen. He never said that. that doesn't look nothing like
this would make Charles Dixon turn over in his grave.
No, that's amazing. I really, really think that. But this is also like, I think what you were talking about, what makes it unique is it's incredibly reflective, right? It makes you like look in the mirror and say, have you earned Christmas? Have you earned the life that you have? And if you, the life that you do have, how much of it is on the backs of other people? How much of it, how have you treated your fellow man? And you can't wait till Christmas to be a good person. You can't wait till Christmas to be generous and all those things. It should be, that spirit is something that should carry you through. So I think that also makes it super unique. That time period is always magical, but this is a real like come to Jesus kind of story, right? Where it's like you have to decide now the kind of person you want to be, because there are effects and ramifications for your choices.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like a fable, I guess. Really hammers home the point. And it also like what I find cool. Another aspect I find it cool about it is it's like it's not specifically about being a miser. Like it's not like only only the miser can go through this process of redemption or change. It's like whatever you're going through in your life, wherever you are in your life, you might have something about yourself that you want to change, and for the better. You say, this aspect of my life is not where I want it to be, or whatever. And the story kind of tells you that you can change. You can literally change overnight. Maybe that's not realistic, but you can have a redemption and totally transform. And that's what I find deeply moving in the story is like at the end, Scrooge's total transformation to joyful from this kind of dark period of his life. And then he completely, it's just a beautiful message of, you can change, you can transform, you don't have to remain. You don't have to, no matter how old you are. Scrooge is like, I don't know how old he is exactly in the story, but I mean, he's like obviously elderly or whatever. So and he transforms. Of course, he goes through this crazy supernatural process to do that, but you can do it too. And, you can change in your life and you're not stuck. And even if many years have passed by and you've been in a difficult situation, there is a chance. There's always a chance. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel for redemption and change. So I always found that really cool about the story.
Yeah, that's a lesson I think a lot of people need right now. I feel like we are in this world where, especially like I was talking about with social media, people are becoming like brands. Like they like people are creating their personas online and then digging their heels in when they may not be right or may not, be on the right side of anything. There's mercy in redemption, because you have to come to terms with where you may have gone wrong, and you have to hope that other people will have that same grace. And I believe that deep empathy comes from messing up, comes from falling on your face a couple times, and then you're a bit nicer to someone else when you see them fall on their face. And it is through that collective human experience of realizing that everyone's doing this for the first time. No matter how old anyone is on this earth, everyone is living life for the very first time. And they may have gotten some cool tips or tricks from dad and mom, but we're all kind of figuring this out. And I think that message is needed, especially for the youth, to understand that, because everything is so permanent, right? You write the wrong tweet, or you say the wrong thing, or you get caught, having a fight, and now that video is viral, or any of that kind of stuff. People, I feel like, feel stuck, and they can't change, and there is nothing better than what they currently see. And I think that it's a very important message to put
Yes.
out there, that it may be a little tough. You may have to look directly in your own eyes in the mirror, and
Mhm.
put all the cards on the table. And,
Yep.
and like I said, same thing with this creator owned work. Be vulnerable with yourself. Be truthful with
Mhm.
yourself. I think Scrooge deals with a lot of cognitive dissonance, right? Where he's
Yeah.
living life and everything's great for him, and he's a bit grumpy, but he's looking at the numbers and he's trying to make every day work, and just can't see the forest for the trees because of where he is in his life and the mentality that he's in. And I feel like everyone's kind of like that now,
Yeah.
especially with everything being more expensive. You lock in on your job. You don't
Yep.
really, you're not trying to look out your window and
Yeah.
see
Right.
who's suffering or going through
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
it's crazy that there's a reason why this is a timeless story, but this
Yes.
reintroduction now is super important, and we are constantly looking for holiday themed things to cover in December. So when this comes out, I can definitely see us covering this for the podcast, doing a deep
Yeah.
dive
Awesome.
on the story for this, and how it reverberates through, how it's reverberated through time, and how it's had different effects on
Yeah.
people through time. I think that's
Totally.
really, really
Yeah. Yeah. It continues like endlessly. It's they say, like, it's almost cliche to say the immortal classic, Charles
yeah.
Dickens, Christmas Carol, but it really is. It's like it's got unbelievable staying power. It's just kind of it's there always.
Is there any intimidation knowing how often it's been adapted? Is there, or do you just know you have your own sort of, like, it
I
means
mean,
something to you, so you obviously have your own takeaways from the story?
yeah. No, I mean, I have like constantly imposter syndrome with everything with art and cartooning and everything that I do. I'm like, yeah, I have self-esteem issues with my art, and like I guess many artists do, like thinking, is my stuff okay or whatever, and but you got to just push past that and say, you know what, I'm gonna just do. I love this, and like this project in particular, I'm just doing it, truly from the heart. And I'm like, so it's gonna be good. Like it's gonna be good with me, and then I think
Yeah.
and I'll be happy with it. And I'm not worthy. I know I'm not worthy. I accept that. I'm not. I'm not on that level in my mind. But I will just do it and do the best that I can, because I just love it and I want to do it. So I'm gonna follow through. But yes, there's always a feeling of like, oh God, like, if like Barry Windsor Smith or some artist like looked at this, he'd say this is terrible and this is terrible.
Yeah, no,
Like,
If he were to say that,
yeah,
I would somehow find him and like wag my finger at him. So,
yeah. There's always that feeling of like, oh my God, I have tremendous reverence for all the artists who I grew up loving. I'm like, crazy reverence for these guys and everything. So, and I know I'm not in that echelon whatsoever, and I'm not trying to be. But I just got it. Yeah, I'm doing something as an artist that I'm genuinely inspired to do. So I'm like, it can't really be bad. It's like, it's not going to be, it's something I feel I have to do, and I'm going to do it. And hopefully some people enjoy it. And I'll be proud just to hold the book that I drew the whole book, and I adapted the book to the best of my ability at this time, and I'll be happy with that. And that's what I got to do. So yeah.
No, that's amazing. It goes back to little Tom again, right? The idea of holding
Yep.
that book, that would have blew his mind. And before I pass it over to Frank, just a little selfish note. When starting this 10 years ago, our motto is literally "You are worthy."
Oh,
I was
nice.
I was gonna ask you, like, did you read his shirt as you were saying what you said? How
No.
you are not worthy?
No,
Because
I
I'm like literally.
Yeah, I've been
So
this has been our sign off for 10 years because of the idea that I feel like we can't help but feel like that. Especially, again, I hate to keep tuning this horn, but like social media, the constant comparisons. You have to be faster, you have to be better, you have to do more at all times. And sometimes we get in our own heads a little bit too
So,
much. I think if one person absolutely loves Christmas Carol, you won, right?
right.
Like if one
Yeah.
person's like, damn, this is
Yep.
this is what I
well
needed.
well hey, the story's about changing one person, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If one person enjoys it, I'm good, and I think people will. I think somebody will read it and say this is a cool version, and hopefully to just be happy with it. Yeah, that's it. If some
yeah.
kid reads it, that's awesome. I like I've had some kids, like with my Horned Helm Studios Presents book, I sold that to some people. I got Grasshoppers, and one of the mothers like sent me message on Instagram or whatever with a picture her kid made a
that's
battle
so
skull. He made a
That's awesome.
Halloween mask for Halloween. I was like, oh, that's awesome. You know, like moments like
Yeah.
that. Wow, like, and you know, I still nobody's really read that book, but that one thing is awesome. Like that's cool. You know, some kid out there likes the character, so you know, that's awesome. And yeah, if somebody with Christmas Carol has a good experience with it, then it's all worth it. It's great. Yeah.
100%. Frank?
So two comments that kind of popped in my head a minute or two ago here. So first of all, like, you know, personally speaking, I don't know if I would actually do this, but I'd like to think I would. If like I put something out there and, you know, like Barry Windsor Smith looked at it and went, this isn't that great. You have the Jack Sparrow moment of, but you have heard of me.
Yes, that's also that too.
It's good. Yeah.
But, you know, it's still something.
Yeah. Totally.
But the other thing I wanted to say is just sitting here listening to you talk about A Christmas Carol and just the things that you're saying around it that you've taken from it. You know, if you ever need another gig, you might want to try motivational speaking. I think you do pretty good at it if you based it around the book.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'll sell copies. Sell copies.
You know, you need more things to take your time, right?
Thank you very much. That's cool. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. What are you picking up at the comic shops now? Are you just going kind of like looking through? Is there anything kind of really interesting you that's going on in comics at the moment?
I love Ghost Pepper from
I've heard about
Ghost Pepper.
With, yes.
I think I don't know how to pronounce his name. Ludo
Lullaby, I believe. Ludo Lullaby.
Yes. He did a Battle Chasers arc. It was Joe Madureira was too
late. He finished the book. He finished the book.
Yeah, he did the arc for Joe Madureira, and so that's where I knew of his work before that, but then he did the Battle Chasers arc, and I was like over the moon about that. And then I was so excited to see that he's doing his own book, which is Ghost Pepper, and Ghost Pepper is awesome. It's consistently awesome.
It just finished though.
Yes, yeah, it's like I guess
12 issues. It's 12 issues and it's done. Yeah.
So
did you check out the issue that he did for Transformers?
Yes,
that was a cool. Yeah,
that was cool. And yeah, that was awesome. His art's great, and that's like my thing with comics. I follow artists, so I bounce around and like you know, if like I mentioned Ed McGuinness earlier, whatever he's drawing, I will pick up. Like he's been doing Amazing Spider-Man arcs, I will grab those arcs that he's drawing, but then I'll skip the next arc if somebody I'm not into his drawing, you know. So I'm like that.
So how did you feel about Death Spiral?
To be completely honest, I bought the issues. I looked at the artwork. I did not read.
Okay.
So I cannot speak to what happened with the characters there. He looked kind of cool. I don't know. What did you think of it? I'm curious.
I honestly, it's worth a read.
Thought it was cool.
If you're a Spider-Man fan, it's worth a read. And I had zero anticipation for it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
he looked cool. I was like, that's cool. And the visual.
Yeah.
So I check that.
But besides that, what I was curious is not to get ahead of yourself, but you kind of, you know, I feel we're always thinking ahead. People are always kind of planning, especially nowadays. When this is over, besides those one shots, do you have any other aspirations, any other ideas?
I want to the one shots, the anthology stuff. I want to continue to do short stories. I want to do one of my big ambitions as a creator is I want to do children's books. Actually, I've been wanting to do children's picture books for a long time. This is totally not comic book related, but
I gotta stop you real quick.
Yeah,
they've been pumping out little golden books for years now with the Marvel characters. So come on, golden books.
Yeah,
Tommy Travers.
Those books are awesome. Yeah, they're great. But I've always wanted to do that. On some level, I have a bunch of concepts and finished like dummy books or whatever you'd call them, like where the book is sketched out and the story is all there. I would just want to do, and now with like Amazon, you can self-publish through Amazon pretty easily, I think, with children's books. So I do want to do some children's book stuff. Eventually, I have to check that off my list. So I will try to make that happen while I'm doing some comic book stuff. So I'll just keep the comic books going. I want to do some children's books. I want to learn stop motion animation. I don't think that'll ever happen, but I would love to.
But that just brings my mind to all the stop motion Christmas stuff that I grew up with.
I was about to say,
I was
he
like,
Thomas Travers wants to be the next Tim Burton.
let's
That's
get
right.
it. Let's do it.
No, I love animation so much, but I just don't have like the knowledge or the discipline to like go into all that. But I would love to mess around with animation at some point on some level, just for fun at home or whatever. Just come up with some things, or I would love to mess with that. That's one of my other mega favorite mediums is animation, stop motion animation, and traditional hand drawn animation. Just absolutely love that stuff. But I don't know. Maybe someday I can do something
Right
in that realm, but we'll see. For now, just books and comics and print media, print stuff, sequential art. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
If I can pitch an idea,
Mhm.
because the reason why I asked you is I was
You
hoping
can't
you
legally
would-
take it.
I know. Well, take it, please, take it.
I remember someone
Take it.
saying that to me at a convention. They're like, people come to me with ideas, but if I use them, then they could be like, "Hey, I walked up to you and I told you that idea years ago at whatever Comic Con."
Listen. If
No, you're
I'm not gonna get into that. I don't. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Spielberg
yeah.
tried to get away with it with a napkin. Stanley and Jack Kirby nonsense. Come on. We're not gonna go in that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna hear this pitch.
I know you drew because nostalgia is big right now, especially with the publisher I'm really, really loving, Dynamite.
Oh yeah,
They're doing Gargoyles books, Thundar books, Thundercats, Silver.
a lot of that stuff is very cool too. I'll say, that's very
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you probably watched a lot of that stuff, and you drew a character that I think deserves more attention. And I think if you like pitched it to Dynamite or Mad Cave or something like that, dude.
Oh, dude.
Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim. Look
Yeah.
at that Earthworm Jim you made, dude.
That's pretty badass.
I could see you doing a 4-issue Earthworm Jim book for Dynamite.
Oh man,
You know what I mean? That would be groovy. Right or wrong, right? Come on, man.
I mean, that would be a dream.
Dude, guys, look at the freaking Earthworm Jimmy, dude. This is the most John Wick looking Earthworm Jim I've ever seen. Like, you killed my cow. I have to kill the universe now. Why, Jim? Because
I was glued to that game, but I could never beat it. I tried my hardest.
I never got past like the 3rd stage,
Those
but I
save
played it
games are
constantly.
incredible.
Just to launch the cow. I was like, let's do this.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And the cartoon was
great.
crazy. It was ahead of its time.
Toy
And
line.
it lasted. The toy line, but the cartoon lasted like 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. But everybody, there's a Captain Planet book out right now, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So start sketching out some Earthworm Jim, man.
Maybe I'll do a sample. I'll do a short story sample.
Yeah.
There you go. It feels like you're a student of the game as somebody who loved animation and loved cartoons growing up, and then just kind of have been working towards like perfecting your craft. I think that sometimes, because it is such a visual medium, there's a lot of that art that can be taken for granted, like a singular panel, right? Like the thought behind a singular panel when it has to do with either pacing or character progression or any of that. There's so much thought that goes into all that kind of stuff. What do you think is something that fans don't know about comic book art and or something that could be misconceived about how a comic book gets put together in regards to the art?
Yeah, probably. I mean, if a fan is not an artist or not interested in the little technical details of things, maybe just the storytelling, the complication sometimes of like the storytelling on a page, I think is something that maybe is not appreciated by everybody. Like when I'm adapting the Christmas Carol, like for example, I'm trying to condense things into certain number of pages. It's challenging. It's fun. It's a fun challenge, but that kind of thought process is probably the average fan who's not necessarily making comics themselves or trying to do this stuff themselves. They just kind of fly through it, read it, and they don't give much consideration to what the artist and the writer are maybe working together on to pace things properly and get everything you need on a page, and how to communicate the story beats and everything effectively, and have a cool composition on your page too. So I guess storytelling is probably the biggest thing that's like most people are not necessarily paying attention to that, but If you read a comic and you have a good experience reading the comic, it's probably because there's some really good storytelling happening. That's why you're enjoying it, because it's well done, and that's the mark of a great cartoonist, illustrator, comic book artist. That's the classic advice they always tell young artists, like, you need to draw story pages, you need to pace out the story, you need to do sequentials. Don't just draw a giant splash page of Wolverine. You got to draw
You heard that, Rob Liefeld?
Yeah.
Oh my god. No, but I gotta imagine when you're doing something like this, literally adapted from text, it has to be challenging to be like, okay, we gotta get this stuff has to be in it. We can't really spend a lot of time on it because I want to breathe here and I want to breathe there. I need to show emotion here, but I need to get there a little bit quicker than maybe the book does and stuff like that. Has that been something that you have to like take notes on as far as like where you want to expand and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I have to read the story, repeatedly. Every section that I'm adapting, I got to read it, reread it, which is, and really, you got to. There's certain moments you can't go super deep into all the exposition and everything. You have to trim some fat and keep things, clear. But it's I'm definitely like and with this story in particular, I love it so much. I'm like, I want to put everything in. But then I'm like, all right, I gotta cut this. I can't have this. I can't, particularly with the dialogue, actually. Like, because I love Dickens's writing so much, and I'm like, I want to put every great line that he wrote in here, but it's just going to be too ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, you have to let the comic book aspect take care of a lot of the exposition, but because it's visual, so you don't have to put every little descriptive thing in there. You can draw it and kind of capture it in a generalized way. But definitely, like storytelling choices like that are sometimes challenging for sure. What to keep, what you have to get rid of, and all that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah. Do you have a schedule for like some of the cons and stuff you'll be doing moving forward?
I just did CradleCon this past weekend, which was the Cradle Aviation Museum and local show there in Long Island. That was great. I'm gonna do. I'm trying to think. I'm in talks with some local shows. I want to get more aggressively going to the shows. I don't have anything officially scheduled right now. Actually, I'm talking to people to buy. I gotta get some space at shows and try to do more local shows and some comic shop appearances. I definitely want to set up in shops. That's a great way to meet people and get the word out for projects. And so I want to sit down in some shops and hand out preview books and postcards and stuff for the Christmas Carol project and get it on people's radar. And so maybe I would like to do Terrific Con, which is in Connecticut, I believe.
Okay.
And little show. If I have an official schedule, I'll let you guys know. But nothing is scheduled immediately anytime soon.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're scheduled for the first Saturday in December.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
That's when the Grasshoppers Comics always has their Christmas party. So
that'll be big. Yeah, totally.
Again, selfishly, I just want to ask: has being a New Yorker at all affected your ability to be a creative in this space? Being someone who knows these comic shops and may know these owners, establishing these relationships in such a creative environment.
Yeah, I think it's hugely beneficial. To be in New York because there are so many shops, which is great. I'm sure there's places in the country where there's not even a comic shop at all.
Yeah, 100%.
So New York has, you have Long Island, which is peppered with shops, and then you've got, the city, obviously, and everywhere in this whole area, there's tons of places you can check out at any given time, and there is community feel, like with the convention scene too, the local convention scene. There's always there's a lot of the same people doing the same shows, and you make friends and you make connections, and there's a pretty lively scene, I would say, in New York. Long Island and the immediate area. There's always something going on, which is cool. And like even like Grasshoppers Comics, my local store, so close by, and they're so friendly and awesome. I've had a great relationship with them for years, and like you said, they've been able to put me in the shop, even when like Chris Claremont is there and all these like famous people are there. I can just go. They're cool enough to let me sit there and do my thing too, which is awesome. You know, they're very, very welcoming, and they're very supportive. A lot of the shops, it seems to me, like several shops that I've approached in the past to, you know, like sit in the shop and sell prints or whatever. They're always like, yeah, come on in, do it. You know, like they're usually very into it. They like having an artist or a creative person come in and spend time, and you know, it creates excitement for their shop for the day, something interesting, something unique. And yeah, generally I would say overall, it's been a very welcoming and positive environment in New York for making comics and creative stuff. And of course, you have like New York Comic Con and places like that. If you really want to go try to meet some bigwig people and pitch some things or whatever, you know, you have access to that stuff if you want. And that's.
Do you plan on even just patronizing New York Comic Con?
I haven't gone in many years. I just feel like it's gotten too big for me. I don't like enjoy it.
But what else might have prevented that?
What?
COVID?
COVID. No, because if being in Florida, COVID like almost didn't happen here. It was,
right.
You know,
there's a lot of stuff that doesn't happen here.
I know, but it's interesting because since being away, I haven't gone to New York Comic Con in a while, and I got to go like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and because I didn't experience the COVID, I was sitting there going, "Why is everybody so overly joyous to be at New York Comic Con?" And then it hit me like, "Oh my God, COVID."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, that's why for you, especially with how welcoming you say just being at the table, and I know getting a table at New York Comic Con can only cost so much. However, you just going around passing these bad boys out and just talking to people, I think would benefit you tremendously.
Yes. No, you definitely. I mean, New York Comic Con is a big deal, and it's maybe with the Christmas Carol, if that would be
your Halloween. It's Halloween time right before.
Yeah, right. Yep, it's good timing. So I should. I actually, my brother just sent me a thing because he's like he's on my ass about pardon my language, but how I don't do enough because I'm focused on like drawing the book and stuff. It's like if you're really serious about this, you gotta do more, go to more shows, go to more stuff. And of course, New York Comic Con should be on that list. And you know, I'm thinking about it now. Of course, I'm going to have to have some kind of presence there, do something there. And you're right.
Let them know.
The time of year is perfect. It's great. So definitely, I'd want to get back into it. And nothing against New York Comic Con. Like it seems it's probably awesome every time. I'm just like, I don't want to go into the city. I'm tired of the crowds. I'm kind of like an old man, I guess, with that. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm just not in the mood. But you know what? I got to get in the mood. I got to get in the New York state of mind.
Listen. I'll tell you that. Look, one of the reasons I left New York was because I got tired of the crowds.
Yeah.
And every time I go back, it's like coming home.
Right.
And you know what I mean. So as that initial like, but then once I'm in it, especially when I got to go to New York Comic Con 2 years ago, I didn't want to leave, man.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so embrace it.
I gotta go to Florida for a little while and then I'll come back.
Not right now. It's too hot and these love bugs are everywhere. Like thank God for this right now because you don't see the blanket of love bugs right now. You just don't.
Well, the other thing though, like we got to speak to Matthew Rosenberg, and he was talking about like loving the intimacy of like the smaller rooms that you're talking about, these smaller shops. I feel like just as much magic happens in those small rooms than in the huge convention centers, especially the intimate connections you can make with the comic owners, comic readers, other artists and stuff like that. I really like that collaborative nature of the business that I think a lot of people don't see if they're just looking for the glitz and the glamour part. A lot of the fun is the grit, is the grind, is, you know, shaking these hands and introducing yourself and hearing other people's origin stories, right? Everyone's at a certain point in their story where they're in the process of getting where they want to go. So I love that we got you for this point, this part of the story. I'm super happy that you were able to spend your time with us today.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Thank you guys for having me. It's great.
100%. Did you guys have any final questions for Mr. Tom Travers tonight?
No, you go first, Alex.
My last question, honestly, you kind of already got ahead of me on it, dude. if you want to expand your stuff to the if you want to expand your stuff down to Florida,
Yes.
let me know.
What's your comic shop situation down there? You guys got
Honestly,
a lot of cool shops.
it's insane. It's
Really?
actually that's what I'm saying.
Nice.
Yeah, like, just in my neighborhood, there are like 4 that
Really?
I'm aware of. Yes,
That's awesome.
yes, yes. And like Tampa Bay Comic Con is coming up. Ocalicon is coming up. There's the scene in Florida is crazy. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Gotta look into that. Yeah, I have
yes,
a
sir.
friend who lives down there too. Yeah, I have every reason to go check it out. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I'm making an offer you can't refuse. You know.
Dude, sounds good.
Frank.
So I guess what would you say to somebody who's, sitting there and they have an idea, hey, I really I have this character, I want to make this, I want to do it. I don't, how'd you put it at the beginning? I don't have the balls to, go to the big one, or I don't want to deal with the big one. What do you tell them? How do you get them, how do you get them off their ass to do it?
Yeah,
Shock collar.
Kind of cliche, but you have to just do it. You got to just if you're really inspired and you have something that you think is awesome and you want to put it out there, you have to do the work and just put it in front of people. And yeah, don't worry about it being perfect or like earlier I was talking about how I'm not worthy and all that kind of stuff. Like you got to push past that if you feel that like like, oh, I'm not as good as this guy or not as good as the next guy. Where you got to say, whatever, I'm going to do what I got to do, and I'll learn from it at the very least, or whatever. Something will happen from this experience, gain something from it, and you just have to, just go for it. If you have an idea, nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to come asking for it. So you have to put it out there. You got to do it. You got to do the work, and because otherwise it's just going to be in your head and it's not going to, you got to put it on paper. You got to put it out there, show it to people. And even if it's not perfect or whatever, you just gotta, you got to take a chance and have fun with it. Yeah. Like just, comics are fun and it's an amazing medium.
Yeah, they are. Damn right they are.
Yeah. You can do anything. Like, if you're a writer, you have ideas, you try to find an artist who can actualize your ideas, put them on paper. It's cool. The sky's the limit with this medium. You don't need a gigantic budget. You don't need a lot to get started. You need pencils, paper, whatever, and you can get it going. So there's no reason not to just get it moving. But you got to take those. You got to take those steps and say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually follow through and complete this. Just complete one project. Do a small project. Start with something small and try to complete it or whatever, and then just put it out there and take a chance with it.
I kind of set you up there. I admit. I'm going to go back. Motivational speaking, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that's probably because I need it the most. Everything I'm saying is I'm talking to myself. Yeah.
No, 100%. And I also I feel the same way. I like to create, and sometimes it is just selfishly for me. I feel like if you have that ability, great power, great responsibility, you kind of have to, or else it doesn't exist. And your story is littered with that message of effort, of being earnest, of putting one foot in front of the other, not paying attention to your left and right, and kind of just forging your own path in this, again, extremely unique medium. But I also feel like it's a very personal one. So you putting your heart into this, your dreams into this, your time, your effort, your energy, it's only gonna come back tenfold. And if people come December don't pick up this book, The Ghost of Christmas Past will haunt them. So do we know that? We know that for a fact, at least
Gotta watch out.
that there will be ramifications. But I don't I can see where this is going because of where your heart is, where your mind is, where your efforts are, and how you feel about the stuff that you work with in an era where a lot of content in general is on a conveyor belt of what's the next thing, and you won't jump to the next thing if it don't mean anything to you. And if it doesn't mean anything to you, it won't mean anything to the person picking up the book. And we've seen that. Even the most popular characters and stories of all time, if not given that heart, that time, that reverence,
Yeah.
won't work. And you might be the biggest Christmas Carol fan I've ever spoken to. So I'm very excited to, to see what someone like that could do with something like this.
Right.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, people are like, they want the glitz and the glamour. I guess like some young people who might be thinking about creative stuff, they want like a Netflix deal. They want that something big. Like that's, some people have that sense of things. Like, you want to be the next Ninja Turtles. You want to be the next gigantic thing. It's like, that's awesome to dream big, but also just do something that's genuine for you. And that's what's probably going to have the best impact for your life and stuff, Just do something.
I'm pretty sure the guys who made Ninja Turtles didn't know it was going to be Ninja Turtles when they made it.
Exactly,
That was
right.
a fun.
Exactly.
That was a fun book.
It started off as a joke sketch.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's kind of a parody. The idea that it's gotten to where it has, where you're drawing it in the fanzines and stuff, right? Like full circle, full circle. Like this is what this medium is for. It's the ups, it's the downs, but it's always the heart. And I want to thank you for putting yours on the sleeve for this conversation tonight.
Absolutely, it was great. Thank you guys so much. It's awesome to talk about this stuff. It's great. I really appreciate you guys inviting me on here to talk. It's great.
And hopefully it won't be the last time. Hopefully we'll be able to chop it up when this book comes out. I'd love to. Are you putting? It sounds like a threat, Alex. You're like, oh yeah.
Hey, pretty much. I know where he hangs out, man.
Again, threat.
Yeah, that doesn't help it any.
That's that offer you can't refuse stuff coming back around. See that? See that?
This is being recorded. It's being recorded.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely amazing. But again, Tom, thank you so much for giving us your time. People check out this book when it comes out. We'll be talking about it as more information comes out, posting pictures. And then when it comes out officially in December, we'll be covering it as part of the Major Issues podcast. For some Christmas cheer, some reflective nature, chestnuts roasting and all that. So go pick up this book. Again, if you like fantasy, go and search out for Horned Helm presents #1, and it's an anthology series, so it's like the weather in Florida. Like, wait a bit, if you don't dig the first thing, just jump into the next story. It's a cavalcade of just really, really inventive, fun, and energetic work, only done by somebody who can put their all their heart into it. So thank you for what you've done for this medium. We need creators like this who are, putting their heart forward and putting what they believe and what they want to say on the page, whether it be art, whether it be writing. This stuff is not for the weak at heart. Again, the rewards are not always instant, but the things that you do get out of this are things that are timeless and will stick with you forever. So thank you for putting that out into the medium in general, Tom.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. It's great. Really appreciate
it. And just signing off for the fellas here, as you all know, and as Tom knows now, always remember that you, yes, you are worthy. Thanks, guys.